Let's.
Hi, welcome to the Gunner Vibe. Thanks again, Varun, for joining us on this episode with Arsenal's game against Burnley at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal winning comfortably 3-1. First reaction right off the bat. What are your thoughts?
Comfortable win. Expected to win it. Even the scoreline looks pretty good, but I mean, just the red card was it was a fair red card. We could have avoided that. Just finish the game with, probably a clean sheet, but beyond that, no other complaints. With the missing players, I think it was a good performance.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, I think the next games are away. I think Brentford away and then Lens at home and then
Yeah.
another, I think, away game against Wolves. But if for us, when especially when we are missing so many players, it was kind of foolish of Vieira to go with that challenge.
Yeah.
Let's challenge and get a red card. I think he would have gotten more minutes if he had not gone for that. If he had not got a red card, with Odegaard missing, Partey missing, this was probably his best chance to establish. And plus, I don't think Havertz has established himself that well, but we'll probably get to it. We obviously made some changes. Ben White was missing from the squad altogether. But apart from that, was the lineup that you saw from the start expected or any?
Yeah, I think that's the best lineup Arteta has access to with the missing players, as you said. Without Odegaard, without Jesus, I think that's the best lineup. And I'm actually glad that he's playing Trossard instead of Nketiah. Actually, Trossard has proved more effective in the striker role
Mhm.
than the traditional, striker itself. So I think great start lineup. I think both against Sevilla and Burnley, Trossard has proved, that he's there. He can play in any position up front. So glad
Yeah,
to see him, but I just don't want him to get injured with his goal. So
yeah,
hopefully he can recover for the Brentford game.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if I had to change, I probably would have started with Nketiah, especially considering how he played against Sheffield and got the hat trick. But of course, we don't want to change too much when there is not too many players available. Plus, I think Nketiah then himself is coming back from an injury, so
Correct.
he has a knock, and Arteta didn't want to risk it. But first half seemed to be as usual. Arsenal gaining most of the territory, a lot of sideways passing. I think the passing itself was a little slow, but as the half wore on, like I think we were creating a lot more chances, a lot of crosses, which was surprising because the man in the middle was Trossard and Havertz also. But what are your thoughts about the strategies that Arsenal used?
Yeah, I think the ideas are good, but I think we, again, going back to the big striker issue, we need that extra body. Like Trossard is again similar profile to Jesus and Nketiah, so hopefully we can resolve that. But we are still getting the points. I think
Mhm.
that's the most important thing at this point. So tactics wise, we were good, but for some reason I'm not sure, like, if you notice it, but like we have been only attacking more with Martinelli a lot, and less of Saka. Not sure if it's due to fatigue, or like he's just on the pitch being the big player for us.
Mhm.
Maybe Arteta should look into, I mean, if he's really injured and he's playing through the pain, maybe give him a game or two break, and maybe the international break he can heal and come back. But that's the only thing I noticed. We've been only using Martinelli a lot as an outlet, less of Saka and more of Martinelli. So we are one-dimensional in that sense. We're not, having too much creativity in the center now with Odegaard missing. I think Martinelli is our only Martinelli and Trossard combo actually is the main thing we have going right now.
Right.
But that's, I mean, as you said, Havertz still hasn't he has some good touches here and there. He had that good chance in the first half, the header,
Yeah.
free header actually in the near post. He could have glanced it. Similar chances he had even against Sevilla. He had
Mm.
some opportunities to at least go on the score sheet, but I think he's lacking a little bit of confidence. But as you said, let's give him some time. He's gonna show his potential, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with regards I mean, if you do a direct comparison with, first of all, the Saka Havertz combination is fairly new, so it's
Yeah,
understandable that there may not be a lot of combination play, and Saka not being involved in the last in this game at least. Last game he was actually better, which is
right.
surprising. On the other side, if you see the movement of Rice and his combinations with Trossard and
Hmm.
Zinchenko and Martinelli allows that creation to happen. But in on this side, there is not a lot of movement. If you uh, We usually see White overlapping, but Tomiyasu doesn't overlap a lot.
Yeah,
Howard's, although his passing is neat and tidy, he doesn't move around a lot to give
correct.
Saka an alternative. So it is kind of static as passing, yeah, and that's what Odegaard brings. Right, constantly keeps moving,
Moving.
constantly creates space for himself and the players around him. So that helps Saka to get goal side and maybe create goals, score goals. But yeah, to your earlier point, Havertz, I think overall he did okay. Off the ball, he was decent. On the ball, he was okay. He had a couple of chances which, if he had that confidence, he probably would have scored. And I think that it boils down to that. If he gets one open goal opportunity which he can um,
Yeah,
score, he'll be better. But
yeah. It'll take some time, but I think he he's slotting into like number 8 for now, which is good. And even like if you think about it, Rice has interchangeably played 6 and 8. I mean, today he was an 8. He's super effective. He almost scored. I think that the curling shot that he had. So so far so good. We have been carrying our team as a collective unit with the missing with the key missing players, which is a good sign, right? Winning without your key players.
mhm,
We saw City, for example, struggled when they had the key players missing. So that's a good sign for us that we are still plowing through the results, even though the fixtures are not that hard. But next one will be a difficult one away from home. So hopefully we can pull that off. I think is that next week or is that after the international break?
after the international break.
Yeah, so I think that gives us the breathing room for now just to get our players back, hopefully. But routine win. I mean, we needed this win. After that Newcastle, the whole drama that happened,
Mhm.
um, especially in the Premier League, everyone jumping on Arsenal's back as usual, and on Arteta's back, and then the Tottenham game again. I don't know if you watched the game, Tottenham versus Chelsea. It was one of the most entertaining games. I mean, there were 5 goals, like 3 or 4 of them disallowed. There was a red card. There was all kinds of drama, and the to Arsenal's point, similar decisions were made there. But again, Tottenham and Chelsea get away with all the media backlash, but always it comes on Arsenal, right? So that's the only thing I noticed, that
Oh,
the other teams always get away with it, and people start blaming Arsenal for the same exact complaints that we point out. And
yeah.
then that was only follow up. I mean, like we got the setting or like the recording of the VAR. I don't know if it was a true thing or if it was a spoof, but they didn't have enough camera angles to prove that it wasn't outside,
Yeah.
right? So they
Which
gave the
is
benefit of the doubt
understandable. I
on
think,
all 3 of those strikes.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but good to bounce back. I mean, that's all we can summarize with.
yeah. Um, I mean, obviously, it was expected that Arsenal would win this game.
Yeah.
It is overall, if you think about it, Spurs dropping points uh, almost necessitated Arsenal winning the game. However, starting of the second half, Burnley came back,
Mm.
scored the equalizer. What did you think about that? I felt it was kind of off the blue. Like it was, they did start the second half better, but
Yeah.
um, what are your thoughts? Did you expect that to happen?
Yeah. I think that goal actually sparked us to go on to win. We kind of became a little complacent or like little heads down after the first goal. But that goal, the equalizer, woke us up. I mean, it was a good goal by them because, as you said, it was created out of nothing, and I think we switched off for a second, and they capitalized. And again, we need to stop leaking goals like these at the Emirates. I think we always concede one goal for no reason, and that kind of sparked the second and the third goal. So that's fine. Just that the keeper misses the clean sheet. I think that's the only drawback.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the stats, although the position stats are obviously in Arsenal's favor, Burnley still had 5 shots on goal. I remember
Yeah.
one, I think it was Gudmundsson who was clear on goal and Raya had to make a stop.
Yeah.
Whereas there was a lot of chances. They had 3 shots off target, and in total they had 8 shots. Arsenal had 10. So there is not a lot of difference in that. It's just obviously the finishing quality in the last third and
Yeah.
the domination as far as territory is concerned. But
Yeah, I think one thing we did improve today that we haven't shown in the other games was set piece, like, scoring from set piece. I mean, goal 2 and 3 were from set pieces. So I think that is something that we can build on. I think because sometimes you need a goal out of nowhere. And I think Saliba's goal was fantastic. And also Zinchenko's goal was like really good. So that's a good sign that,
yeah,
we're scoring goals, not just with regular creation, like on the offense, but also from these set pieces, which I think we were missing for the last few games.
yeah, that's definitely a good point because I remember in the last game against Newcastle, our corners were not even passing the first
Right.
post, front post. And maybe it was still Trossard who was taking the corners.
Yeah.
This time it felt like we were deliberately trying to go for corners a lot more. I think we had about 13 kicks to Burnley's 3, and we put the ball in a really good position.
Danger. Yeah. In the danger
And
zone. Yeah.
and the first goal that Saliba scored, that was a really
Yeah.
good call right on top of the goalkeeper's head, and Saliba just sneaked in and scored it. Even the
Yeah.
third goal, where I think the Burnley defender hit against the bar and Zinchenko scored from the rebound. That was also a really good ball. So I think Arsenal was definitely practicing and making sure that the delivery on these set pieces are better. I hope that continues after the break because we will be playing bigger teams. Brentford is obviously a big team. Wolves, they showed today how good they are against Spurs. So these games, although it's expected that Arsenal will win, we'll definitely need to be in our toes and be more
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah, the next one, as you said, Brentford away, gonna be a tough one. But good thing is we really need to rake up the points there because that week Liverpool will play Man City.
Hmm.
So there is an opportunity for us to capitalize on City. Tomorrow they play Chelsea, so hopefully I'm not expecting Chelsea to beat them. Like at least if they could draw with Man City, like how they did with us, 2 points again drop for Man City. So I think the 3-4 fixtures for Man City, the next one is Chelsea, then Liverpool, and then Tottenham. Right? Those are the only few runs of games that City can actually drop points,
Yeah,
and I think we need to keep raking up points. So I think Brentford away, and then we have Wolves home, and then we have Luton and Aston Villa away. So actually, a little tough games coming up, like not easy, totally easy, like Burnley and Bournemouth. So hopefully we get the win against Lens. That way we solidify the Champions League, and like, we can rest for the PSV away game. Like we can give
Mm.
others a chance, and then make sure we pick up all the points against these next 3-4 games, to pile the pressure on City, because Christmas is almost here, and we need to be, between 1 and 2, right? So I'm not this year. The strategy needs to be different. We probably should be like second, right? The first one always has the pressure. We kind of just be on the heels, and which is what City do to us, right? That's what they did to us. But this time I'm also expecting Liverpool to be in the mix. So
Yeah,
the pressure won't be totally on Arsenal to chase City. So actually a three-way race is better than, a totally like two-way race.
yeah,
Um, it's going to be exciting is all I can say. But I think we are in the right spot for now. Uh, but I think the rumors that we have heard is Arsenal are looking to sign Ivan Toney.
mm,
They are planning to gamble. I guess they are trying to sell 3-4 players, is what I heard, in order to buy Tony. So we don't know who's going to be exiting. Uh, but I think the club are making the right move. We need that character up front, and that's what we missed last season, right? From the injury from January to, like the end of the season, we lacked goals when we needed them most. So I think that the club is trying to make corrections on that, and like we are like, this is our opportunity, second time. I think we should sign that striker, and maybe that 15 goals from Tony might take us over the line. So let's see.
yeah. I mean, I'm actually still smiling when you said gamble because that's what Tony not allowed to do or not allowed to do anyway. Anyways, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still debating on that. I still feel like Arsenal need a wide player rather than a striker, and it all depends on who we can let go of. Because um, one, we
Yeah.
already have a 25-man squad, and one of the reasons why Raya was not bought and instead was got on loan was how close Arsenal is to that FFP.
FFP. Yeah.
They'll definitely need to let go of players. I don't see a lot of good strikers, at least this year. I mean, there is probably good strikers out there, but I would give at least until summer to get a striker. I don't know if that means it will be too late or whatever, but
Yeah.
I will still see if there is opportunity to invest in a winger, like a Neto would be ideal target for me. But obviously, injury record of him is not great. But it
Yes.
seems like any player coming into Arsenal seems to be injured also. Like Partey, he was never injured when he was in Atletico, but it
Exactly.
seems
We
like he
have,
was
yeah, we
injured.
have something going on at a club level that, as you said, Rice was never injured, right? First time he got injured when he was like out for that, back injury.
Yeah.
And we don't know what, happens behind the scenes, and like, uh, injuries are like, part of the game. And, if we need to replace folks, I think, there are lots of players, for example, El Neni. Partey has not been a feature this season, unfortunately. He was our main defensive midfielder last
Mm,
season.
yeah.
Maybe Partey, Suarez, Elneny could be exiting, who knows, in January, and
Mhm.
maybe that could pave the way for like a striker, right? We don't know who the guy is. Maybe Tony, maybe Neto, or some form of attacking flair that we need, because we do run out of steam in some of these games, right? Like especially the Newcastle game was an example, right? We did complain about the goal that they had scored, but we didn't create any chances either,
Mhm.
or we didn't have, I think we spoke about this. Some of the games we really run into a roadblock, and I think that is the gamble that we need to take. We need to bring in someone who can break that defense.
Yeah.
So let's see. The club has some plans. I think we have to just trust the leadership, and the manager, and just support the team. I guess we'll be good.
Yeah, I'm also hopeful that in some of these games after the international break, we'll have some of our under 16s, under 18s, under 21 players also come in. There are good players in those squads who can could be useful, I feel. Um, I, there will be, I've come winter or even summer transfer window, there is opportunities obviously to make a lot of adjustments to the Arsenal squad. But
Yeah,
I don't expect too many changes because that will be too much to adjust in the
yeah,
middle of the season, especially. But international break, obviously, it's probably coming at the wrong time when Arsenal has just come back to winning their games back to back. Um, Next is Brentford. Raya cannot play that game. Ramsdale will have to come back. Hopefully, we'll have some players come back to start that game. Maybe Odegaard,
yeah.
maybe Gabriel Jesus, and hopefully, no one gets injured in the international break either. But your thoughts on the games coming up? Because once this international break is over, December, as you know, will be
Thick and
full of
fast.
games. Yeah,
Lots of
a lot of
games, right?
games.
And then January FA Cup comes in, and there's a ton of other games.
Yeah.
Maybe that Carabao Cup exit maybe was a blessing in disguise because it would have just added. I think we just don't have the numbers again.
Mhm,
Uh, first team quality like 25, all 25 are not like City's 25, right? Like interchangeable.
mhm,
So maybe that one competition getting gone like out of the way was good. And we can focus on the league and the Champions League.
yeah.
So I think maybe yeah, like a positive and a negative. The international break comes in where we actually don't have our top players in, so maybe that's a blessing. We'll have our captain back and get the win, and then we have a couple of home games, and then we have a few away games that are tough. Luton away could be tough. Liverpool struggled there,
Mhm,
and Tottenham struggled actually. They barely got one. They were like one man down, but they barely won 1-0.
mhm,
So that will be a tough game, and also Villa away is going to be tough.
yeah.
So I think having our players back would be super helpful. And I think after that, there's going to be tons of games. So
Yeah.
have fingers crossed. We just need to rake up the wins and be on the heels of City. That's all we can do, and then pounce on our chance in March or April. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think currently Arsenal is at 27 points after 11 games.
yeah,
Arteta mentioned in the pre match presser that for any team to win the league, you have to have 96 to 100 points, which is almost literally we cannot really drop any points from now until the end of the season.
yeah,
20, what is it, 26 games, 26 multiplied by 3, 78 points.
yeah.
Uh, so you really don't have a lot of leeway. You can probably drop a few points here and there, but any points more than 10 means Arsenal will not be able to, or no other team will be able to.
Yeah, especially with a team like City, right? Like when we grew up watching the league, 80 points was enough to win the
Yeah.
league, right? Or at least, like you have a chance. And
Mm,
now it has been pushed to 95 and above.
mm,
And the only way I see some hope for Arsenal this season is City's involvement in the Club World Cup. So they will be traveling to Japan actually in a couple of weeks to play the Urawa Red Diamonds and like all those weird games.
mm,
That travel may impact them. Who knows? Maybe that's helpful for us. But again, with City, you never know, right? They're always there. Like, how Pep Guardiola says, we will be there, right?
mm,
So I think he drills it down to his players. Like, fatigue is not a problem for their team. So maybe that could help us. Who knows? We'll see how it pans out. And maybe also the round of 16 draw in the Champions League could also be a factor, like, on how City go ahead. City have been always lucky, to be honest, in the Champions League. If you look at their draws going to the final, they usually get easier draws for round of 16 and like the round of eights or like quarterfinals. Um, Hopefully this time they draw a tougher team early enough,
mm,
and then that could they would have to focus on those games as well.
yeah.
So I think Arsenal's focus should solely be on the league and try to go as far as they can in the Champions League. I'm not expecting us to win the Champions League this
Mhm.
season, but I think that should be the goal for us. Be in the top two in Christmas, and make sure we're in the round of 16. I think that is already done almost.
Yeah.
So no complaints. I mean, we can just look forward to our next fixture. Any closing thoughts from your side?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun when Spurs lose points. They were not able to recover from their first loss of the season last week, and again losing to Wolves this week.
Yeah,
And at the same time, Arsenal winning is a double bonus. So
yeah.
um, we'll
And
see.
next year face Man City, I think,
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
I think
So
it's not going to be easy for any of the teams. Even Man City, like you mentioned, they have back-to-back tough games coming up. And this is the time when Arsenal should manage our games well, make sure that we don't have any red cards like we did today, and
yeah,
get our scores or get our points, 3 points. There is no no way we can lose ground on these other teams.
these fixtures, yeah, as you said, we need to dispatch these teams. The Newcastle could have been a draw. I mean, last year we won it, but hopefully, like as you said, there's so little margin of error, which is why Arteta was so pissed at those decisions,
Yeah,
because these leagues are lost with 3 to 6 points, like two wins or two losses, and that's why he's absolutely livid, because last year we had the same issue. Wrong decisions against Man United, like Martinelli's goal at Old Trafford, and then the Brentford goof up.
mhm.
That was 6 points, right? And we lost the league by 6 points, like five
Yeah,
points. So I think we get why he's pissed, and I think he's absolutely right. The decisions have been sometimes very horrendous. So hopefully, and this year we've already seen the Kovacic red card, and then the Newcastle Bruno Gomes could have got a red card,
yeah,
and the goal itself. So it makes sense why he's angry, and the margin of error is so low. I mean, because of Man City, right? If it was only Arsenal and Liverpool, games here and there, we could have 85 plus points, could have won the league. But as you said, with Man City, you can only be perfect, otherwise City is going to win the league.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Let's hope that's the case. We continue to get our wins, and the teams other around us lose points. Obviously, there is an international break, but I'll talk to you after that. I'm
yeah.
excited for the run-up fixtures that are coming up next. But
We'll catch up soon,
yeah,
and thank you for setting this up. It's been a great experience, and like for those who are watching, please share this channel, subscribe to the channel, share your opinions, put in comments so that we get feedback, and that way we can improve our content. Right. So put in your feedback on the comment section, and we'll get back to you in the next episode.
awesome. Thanks, Varun. Have a good day.
Take care, Arun. Have a good weekend. Happy Diwali.
Thanks. Happy
Yeah.
Diwali.